new Toyota FJ Cruiser on Legend Returns. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. The new Streetwise menu from KFC. It's so good. Keno. Clean up with Keno and the NRL. Officeworks. Biggest brands, lowest prices. VB. Real. And TAB Sportsbet. You're on.
Will be favourable for Moi Moi. Horo scores. He's gone into space and scores. Isaac Luke.
Tonight, the stars shine in search of the prize.
And out there in above them, Greg Inglis. Greg Inglis has scored. Here's Hayne. He'll score, Jared Hayne.
The Eels and the Rabbitohs. Friday night football on the home of the best, Nine's wide world of sports. Now to your commentary team, Phil Gould and Peter Sterling.
Thank you, Ray. And at their best, both of these sides have plenty to offer, but they come off disappointing losses last weekend. And even at this early stage, that does put some pressure on. Phil, let's start with the home side tonight, which is Parramatta. Beat the Warriors round one, went down to the Panthers last week. Can you see and appreciate the areas that they're looking to improve in their game?
Absolutely, Peter. Their coach, Stephen Kearney, is trying to give them a solid platform that they can fall back on under pressure. The control game, where they complete their sets of six, rely on the long kicking game of Jared Hayne and wait for mistakes. The problem last week against an enthusiastic Penrith side was it was raining, they got behind on the scoreboard, and they couldn't break free of those shackles and find any of their attacking flair. Now, I'm sure Stephen Kearney will continue with the control aspect, but that man, Jared Hayne, has got to get more ball.
And already an interesting week for their star fullback. He's been a lifesaver on many occasions on the field for the Eels. Well, this week it got personal with a young Irish backpacker getting in trouble off Coogee Beach. He was the man on the spot. And in fact, Brad Fittler will catch up with the young lady in question during the course of the evening. Jared Hayne is at fullback tonight. On the wings, Luke Burt and Etu Waiselli. The centres, Chris Walker returns from injury to partner the young Ryan Morgan. Daniel Mortimer at 5'8", Jeff Robson, the halfback. Ben Smith into the run on side. Nathan Hindmarsh is the skipper. Taniela Lasalo with Tim Manor, Casey Maguire and Shane Shackleton into the run on side. The bench, Matthew Keating and Justin Horo. On debut tonight, Billy Rogers and Fui Moi Moi. They are coached by Stephen Kearney. Now their opposition, South Sydney, they are 0 from 2. They've been in a position to win both of those matches against the Roosters and the Dogs. That has drawn criticism. You've had your say, especially in matches where there is heat in the contest, how they can struggle. Their coach, John Lang, agreed with that summation, but he said he hasn't given up on them. Have you?
No, I haven't given up on them at all, but I think John Lang and his players realise they've got to find some consistent intensity over the course of the 80 minutes. Their good football is good. Unfortunately, it happens when they're well behind on the scoreboard and they're trying to make a comeback. They've had a chance to win the last two games and blown it by conceding tries late. 2 games so far this season, conceded nearly 70 points. It's not good enough. Their good is okay. Their bad is terrible. They've got to lift their worst part of their game.
Well, after an unhappy game last week, Reece West retains a fullback position. On the wings, Nathan Merritt and Fatuli Talanoa. Dylan Farrell and Greg Inglis are the centre pairing. The halves, John Sutton and Chris Sando. A back row of Dave Tyrrell, Ed Pettybourne and David Taylor. With Luke Stewart, Isaac Luke and the captain Roy Asatasi. The interchange, Ben Ross and Shannon McPherson. Michael Crocker, Chris McQueen. They are coached by John Lang, who tonight becomes just the 8th coach certificates, 350 first-grade games, and, of course, he is already a premiership winner with the Penrith club back in 2003. Our second match tonight was not exactly little brother up against big brother, but a healthy rivalry between the Gold Coast Titans and the Broncos. That's from Skill Park. But we kick off live here tonight at ANZ Stadium with the Rabbitohs up against the Eels. And with 16 tackles next to his name tonight, Nathan Hindmarsh will rack up 10,000 in his career. And what a warhorse he continues to be.
Richard Swain. Oh, big shot on Robinson. Marvin Lang back into the defence and Hindmarsh. Here's a bust for Parramatta.
This is Hindmarsh, got power.
Hindmarsh again.
Now Hindmarsh goes through.
Hindmarsh is in the clear. Hindmarsh has got plenty of pace. He's going to make it. Hindmarsh nails it for Parramatta. Some quick hands and big defence. Hindmarsh is out there. Now with Nathan Hindmarsh. And Hindmarsh, big stride over the 20-metre line. Takes off Carmichael Hunt. An Asta got the ball away for Hindmarsh. It's a try for Nathan Hindmarsh. Then the ball goes down in the end goal. Hindmarsh gets it back into the field of play. Great stuff. The no Hindmarsh is able to drag him down.
Last time, it all came down to the final question, and 640 grand went down the drop. Monday, new hopes, new dreams.
A new chance for a whole new life.
Here comes the drop.
Oh my God.
In another big event week,
Can this Aussie couple make a fairy tale come true?
This is the Australian dream.
new the $1 Million Drop, Monday, 8:30 on 9.
Officeworks has the lowest prices. This 4-pack of notebooks are low $5.92, and this 4-pack of markers only $11.96. Find an identical stocked item at a lower price, we'll beat it by 5%. Officeworks, lowest prices every day.
Everyone dig in, share it around.
Introducing Pizza Hut's new Italian-inspired stone-fired range. The finest ingredients like suppressor salami, cherry tomatoes and rocket, all on a traditional stone-fired pizza base.
You've got to try them all.
Welcome to Big W Vision. Please read the top line. And the next line. Converse, $146. Great. Now isn't that better? Big W, helping you live big for less.
The Internet, the world's biggest store. With Visa Debit, you can go where EFTPOS can't and shop online using your own money. Visa Debit, like EFTPOS, but with more go.
Survivor Redemption Island, totally new, Tuesday 7:30 on Go.
You know what a mechanic is? A hitman. Want to know what you know? Follow me. The mechanic.
Tanning is skin cells in trauma. Just one damaged cell can start a melanoma growing, and just 1 millimeter deep, the cancer can get into your bloodstream and spread. There's nothing healthy about a tan. Authorised by the New South Wales Government, Sydney.
Tomorrow will bring us closer, even when we're apart. Tomorrow's appliances will be smarter and more efficient. Tomorrow will allow us to instantly share memories with family, friends, or the world. Tomorrow will be easier, bolder, and more exciting. Samsung, turn on tomorrow.
Two strangers dropped in the wilderness with only the new FJ Cruiser to get them back.
What now?
Hit the road, I guess. Wipe your feet.
The new FJ Cruiser. A legend returns.
Top Gear UK versus Top Gear Australia, round 2.
This is going to be a bloodbath.
Nine's new Top Gear special, Tuesday 8:30.
Welcome back now to ANZ Stadium for Friday night football. Bundaberg Friday night football. The 6th consecutive time since 2008 that these two clubs have met at Rugby League headquarters. Last time they met in round 25 last season. South came away victorious, but they've not won successive games against the Eels since 1995. So the Red and Greens, the same 17-man squad as the one which went down to Canterbury last weekend. At 24 degrees outside, Parramatta, the home side tonight, but using the visitors' dressing sheds. This, of course, being very much the South Sydney home ground, and I guess that was just an act of courtesy. Southerly winds coming from right to left on your screen when we go out on the paddock. Roy Asatasi leading South Sydney out. They just haven't been able to find a back end in the opening 2 rounds of the Telstra Premiership, haven't they? Greg Inglis. Needless to say, the Red and Green faithful are hoping that he can find his best form after a modest couple of games in those first 2 rounds I was referring to. Also, I guess South supporters will hold their collective breath if Chris Sando happens to kick a field goal tonight. The last 3 times he's taken the 1-pointer, including the 2 season openers this year, Souths have been beaten. So Nathan Merritt still chasing down the 100. He's on 95 at the moment, Nate, and the last man in a red and green jumper to score 100 was the great Bob McCarthy, a second-row try-scoring freak back in 1975. Isaac Luke has signed until the end of 2015 with Souths. He said, I love the joint. He had an offer from Parramatta, and his national coach, Stephen Kearney, knocked it back. Well, the Eels showed last weekend that a week in football can be rather stressful, from a terrific season opening against the New Zealand Warriors to an awful performance against the Panthers. I guess if they're going to find winning form again, this is the place they're most likely to find it, though, because their record here is good. Of their last 7 they've played here, they've won 5 of them. 3 changes: Walker, Waisili and Shackleton into the run-on side. And that is Shane Shackleton, his first run-on appearance since 2009 when he was at the Roosters. And there he is, the lifesaver. The boys, in fact, are calling him Hasselhoff after his deeds of the week.
Don't hassle the Hoff, eh?
Luke Burt, will he equal the benchmark of 110 tonight set by Brett Kenny? And you would think it'd only be a formality that Nathan Hindmarsh, the most capped Eel of all time, with his 16th tackle tonight, will bring up 10,000 tackles for his career.
Well, he's likely to get that in the first 15 minutes. And as we have a look at the conditions out here, we had a little bit of rain earlier. It's stayed away at the moment. So a little bit greasy out there, and the kicking game's so important tonight. And to be honest, both of these teams can be a little bit hit and miss in that department. Just keep an eye out on Jared Hayne with his downtowns. You won't see a better spiralling long kick in the game than Hayne. And Sandow and Sutton, they'll need to reply in kind.
Just waiting for the kicking tee to arrive. Steve Lyons and Matt Checken in charge of the game.
Remember the good old days, Ray? You just put the heel in and you pushed it sideways, and then you put the ball down on the point. And
in difficult conditions, Sterling would put his index finger on the top of the ball and Cronin would kick it.
Yeah, nearly broke my hand on about 6 occasions.
Dear, oh dear.
This is quite laughable, really. It is something that is required at the start of every game, and here we are waiting probably 60-odd seconds or more for it to arrive.
You actually can get kicking tees of different sizes to accommodate the person kicking. Here we go.
Parramatta then running from left to right, their home game against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, both beaten last weekend. And Luke Stewart it is that's met and tackled low by Tim Manor. Hindmarsh put him down for 1. He went in there simultaneously with Maguire. And the 13 is David Tyrrell, who the newspapers did a magnificent spread on today. He would be Superman's greatest fan. We might get round to talking about some of the things that he still possesses from his childhood as an admirer of the man with the cloak. So the Rabbitohs with David Taylor now just beyond their own 40-metre line. Wesser goes over to Sando and he just puts a little ball down onto the stomach of Eddie Pettybourne, right in the centre of the ground. A little bit chopped up, in fact. Now Inglis gets a kick in. It's a big torpedo punt, more high than long. And Waisili it is that takes the ball, and then he's hammered by his opposite coming down the ground, Talanoa.
That was a very good take. That was... Oh, hang on. We've got Pettybourne here getting young Ryan Morgan into a dangerous position. It's onto his back. And the penalty goes to Parramatta. It looked a little bit more dramatic, but this is a good take. It was swirling around. He was close to the sideline, but he made it look very, very comfortable. And then Pettybourne, he drives in. Unfortunately, it didn't go any further.
So Tim Mannett to his own 40-metre line now. Opening exchanges of the opening match of the third round of the Telstra Premiership, and Hindmarsh on the end of the tackle from Isaac Luke and Eddie Pettybourne. Now for Shackleton, and he will play the ball, the former Rooster. A big night for him, really, as it goes through from Robson, and Manor is with the ball, and they pick him up and drive him. He put himself really in an awkward position. Taylor was the tackler. Here's Maguire, came off a rabbit who didn't know he had it, and then it's gone off the feet of Luke, but they won't gain an advantage here, Parramatta, I wouldn't think. Or is he restarting it? Yes, he is. And here's Hayne coming back now, a couple of metres into South Sydney's territory. So Chris Walker goes into dummy half, the number 3. I don't think veteran would be out of place in describing Chris these days, as he plays it for Casey Maguire. And that's Lasalo. Tanila Lasalo inside 30. They come right side. Maguire behind a second man of Shackleton decoy, and Robson's with the ball. He's 20 metres in from touch. They're 15 out, Parramatta. And here's Mortimer giving it inside for Manor. Manor almost through, just on the edge of the ruck. So deep goes the pass from Maguire to Robson to Hayne. Bullets it off. What a ball, what a try. Why silly, but it's gone forward.
Wow.
He's rolled it forward.
Well, the Parramatta fans that are in direct line with that aren't happy. Jared Hayne's not happy. The linesman there has stood his ground. Let's have a look. That is perfect. That is perfect.
First scrum.
That is perfect. It doesn't get any better than that.
Seconds.
Doesn't get any better than that.
I need you to stay bound until we call out. You guys keep your
Well, Jared is absolutely amazed at the call, because all you're looking for really, does it come backwards off the hands, and he is convinced of that. Yes, it floated forward, there's no doubt about that. That is not a forward pass. This is Talanoa with the ball now, and I'm sure that Fatuli would be saying thank goodness for that touch, Judge. In fact, he might go over and just pat him on the shoulder in a moment. Pettybourne to play it.
Well, it was a great pass from Jared Hayne, and it should have registered first points. South Sydney now, they'll be aware of the fact that Hayne is in there in the attacking 23 and those kind of passes. They'll think there might be an intercept at some stage in this game for the offering.
I was going to make the comment coming up to it that was the area where they had nothing to offer. Knock on Taylor, picked up, advantage of Parramatta. Morgan, and Morgan goes down to the 20-metre line. They had nothing to offer last Friday night in a similar situation. Now from Waisili through Robson, it's found Manor. Stewart has got him tied up with Pettybourne, and Isaac over the top. And they're at the 10-metre line, middle ground. Shackleton running straight at the leading shoulder of Reece Wesser. And that's where they are. So close to this line down the southern end. Mortimer double pumps it. Lasalo is over. Did he make it? No. Penalty double movement. Well, what a fortunate start for Souths. but less fortunate for Parramatta.
Can't believe it, can you? He looks certain to score. Gee whiz, I think he's just bounced, hasn't he?
That's a try.
That's a try. My God.
Momentum has got... He did exaggerate the arm, but he didn't have to. Momentum got him there anyway. That's been the area that Parramatta have struggled in the last couple of seasons, actually scoring inside the 20. Well, they've been over twice tonight, and yet we look up at 0-0 as Luke Stewart just shy of halfway.
Gee, it's hard to score a try, Rabbits.
We'll take another look at that disallowed try from Lasalo when time permits, but Souths meantime are seeing some grass down the other end of the ground. As it comes away from Greg Inglis, it's gone through Sando and picks up Asatasi. So Luke for Sando. The kick is high. Maguire, the charge down attempt. And then it bounces favourably for Nathan Merritt. He circles the troop, put a little kick in, it'll go dead. So it'll come back to the 20 for the replay.
Okay, he's kicked it, so we will take it.
Here's the double movement according to the officials. Lasalo, is it momentum or does he promote it?
No, it's a try. I don't think he couldn't have scored. He's absolutely amazed. He bounces to the line. I don't think he could avoid scoring.
Let go.
He'd have had to have pulled his arm back.
Well, he'd have dislocated his shoulder not to score.
Shackleton.
Rabbits.
No, I agree with you. There's no need for us all to be in harmony like the symphony orchestra.
I love harmony.
You're kidding. You don't even know how to spell it. Anyway, it's Parramatta now. They've been over twice, and Peter and Phil both agree, and I agree, that they should have... well,
so
this is problematical. 2 tries should be on the board.
So you're in harmony with us.
I'm in agreement with you. Here's Shackleton. By the way, the referee, Matt Checken, called the Eels forward pass, not the touch judge. So my apologies to the touch judge on the western side. He is not necessarily a close friend of Fatuli Talanoa's. The ball goes out on the full off the kick from that man, Jeffrey Robson. And 5 metres on their own side of the halfway. The Rabbitohs play it through Inglis. And Stewart it is that trundles it up to the halfway line. Third round of our premiership, Bundaberg Friday night football. Pettybourne is probably going to have some questions asked of him. The tackle on Morgan, it was a bad one. This is Tyrrell. David just outside the 30-metre line. How many times do you see a team absolutely pummeling the opposition try line and they score first themselves, the defending team? Souths have got that chance now. Play by John Sutton. Last now for Sando. Back now for Stewart. And he will play the ball on the 20-metre line. Here is Sutton, dangerous here. Inglis shows it. Steps off his left, got it away. Wesser scores. Reece Wesser scored, the big man. He stood tall. It was an easy left foot step for Inglis. Beat the opposition. And Reece Wesser, who's been on the end of massive criticism for his performance last weekend, scores.
Yeah, it's good to see for Reece Wesser. He had a tough weekend last weekend, but there, the big step. Inglis inside Robson, got the left hand free and put it straight out in front of the number 1.
TAB Sportsbet Market Update.
Hi, Jamie Rogers here from TAB Sportsbet. It's Guineas Day tomorrow and here's a great reason to get involved. We've topped up the first 4 pool for tomorrow's Rosehill Guineas with $106,000. You can get on at your local New South Wales TAB or around the nation on tab.com.au. Betting is open now.
Sportsbet, TAB, Sportsbet.
Well, a little bit of karma, you might say, for Reece Wesser following a most forgetful week. Sando from 15 out, just on a little angle, and it's 6-0 in favour of South Sydney. Brad Fittler sideline.
Thanks, Rebby. As a little bit of rain starts to fall. I've got to say, I was watching Greg Inglis in the warm-up prior to the game. We've been talking about his weight, and his fitness. He's starting to look a bit slim. You can just really see it in his face. He's getting that focused look about him. What a great way to start the game for Reece Wesser. Both these blokes were under the pump before the game and during the week. And what a nice reaction from them.
Yeah, you're spot on, Freddie. He does look trimmer tonight, does Greg Inglis, and it's a great first touch. And if John Lang has said that South Sydney have been soft at the end of matches, well, Parramatta have got to be tough at the beginning of this match. Good sides, they handle adversity, and they've had some. So they can't get their heads down because they feel as though they've been hard done by. They've got to roll their sleeves up and stay in this contest and battle it out.
Play by Stewart, and Taylor it is that runs it. He'll play the ball inside the 40-metre line. Isaac Luke thinks it's time to have a little scurry away from dummy half, and Wesser was storming onto the ball, but Luke had been well and truly tied up by Hindmarsh and Manor. He's up to 9 tackles now, Nathan. We're looking for 16, and that kick is going over the dead ball. So retrieved back there, the kick of John Sutton by Jared Hayne. I think that young lass that he saved is actually in the crowd tonight. Played then by Chris Walker. Now it's with Shackleton. Stewart, the chief tackler. Hindmarsh carries it up to David Tyrrell. 7 or 8 metres their own side of halfway, Parramatta. The penalty goes their way. He's eventually lost patience with the tacklers. They were in there on a feeding frenzy, you might say.
Now we'll see what Parramatta have learnt from last week. Coach Stephen Kearney said that they got a little bit bogged down with their style once they got behind on the scoreboard. They couldn't break free of the shackles and produce tries. They've had a couple disallowed. Now they find themselves behind on the scoreboard again. Let's see what they come up with.
Here's Shackleton. That's the 20-metre line just behind him. Now it's come down to Lasalo, one of the disallowed try scorers. On the 10-metre line, middle ground. Maguire has a look, goes behind Shackleton. Robson! Jeffrey Robson! He scores the try after he had been sidestepped to the other end of the ground by Greg Inglis. So the 7 for Parramatta has scored.
And nice work from Casey Maguire. I was surprised that he didn't start last week against Penrith after being so good in the opening 20 minutes against the Warriors. He got out of dummy half, the big dummy there from Jeff Robson, fooled Dave Taylor, and Luke Stewart unable to tackle him down low.
Officeworks has the lowest prices on the biggest brands in the game. Like this Canon Pixma multifunctional low 178 and this Canon 6-inch value pack only 124. This 500 gig WD pocket hard drive an amazing $69, and Microsoft Office Home and Student 2010 only $159. And if you find an identical stocked item at a lower price, we'll beat it by 5%. Taking care of business. Officeworks, lowest prices every day.
You've just come back in time to see Luke Burt convert the try scored by Jeffrey Robson. And so it's 6-all after 14 minutes, the blue and golds and the red and green.
He did well, Robson, but I put this try down to defensive error. They just overread it too much. Dave Taylor takes the dummy, leaves his front rower posted on the inside, and the faster Robson gets by. Not saying it's not good work by Robson, it is. He saw the opportunity, but that's defensive error, and that's what I talk about with South Sydney. They get off to a good start and then lack intensity in their goal line defence. That's what they've got to improve.
Gee, that kickoff from South Sydney almost cost Parramatta dearly. It still might.
Well, it was cool again from that man there, Waiselli. He just taps it back. No drama about it. Straight to Robson, who found support.
20 metres out from their own line. Cross through Mortimer. Oh, gee. Strong tackle there by Sando. He can hit hard. And it's Lasalo who was on the end of it that time. Here was Tim Manor with the ball. And 35 metres out from the line. Over now for the kick from Hayne. He puts a shot on it, but it's gone out on the full. It's gone out on the full. It looked to have a mighty hook on it.
Yeah, well, he had good pressure from the inside on his right kicking leg.
Back, fellas, all the way.
I don't like right-footed kickers kicking on the left-hand side of the play of the ball. And you can see that Luke was able to get out, made him kick around him, and he hooks it out over the touchline. Not happy.
One, let go.
This is Pettybourne now.
And go.
On the 30-metre line, and a run for Isaac Luke. And a penalty for, is it high? Yes, it is.
Didn't look to be much in it, but they made contact.
So a quick tap taken by the Rabbits, and it's Luke Stewart who drives the attacking wedge towards the middle of the ground. Back they go then to Sando. There was a decoy, and then Wesser. Oh, Merritt. He got fingers to it, and Wesser, I think, is saying Parramatta put a touch on it.
Yeah, he's claiming that Luke Burt touched it. Burt knew he was in trouble, so he came up. But Nathan Merritt, I'm not sure if he's going to have any joy here.
Give him the tip now, Teddy.
They created an overlap out there. They were running out of space. And you see Luke Burt takes the odds to it. I thought he did get a touch. Yeah, he has.
He's going to reverse his decision and give South Sydney the feed. So Hindmarsh, who was going to pack in as hooker, he goes down the tunnel back to lock forward. Isaac Luke goes into the back of the scrum for Souths.
Heads in. And you go. That touch.
So touched by Luke Burt. And Luke picks it up at the back of the scrum. Sutton gave it to Wesser. Wesser comes to the Parramatta line. He had Inglis off his left hip. And Inglis, a dummy half now, has a go. Tries to beat the lock forward for Parramatta. Ben Smith puts him to ground. Played back and away from Taylor. It's gone to Sutton. Off his right foot and tries to dance his way through. 6-all. And South's attacking. Here's Sando. A little hand back to his captain, Asatasi. 4 tackles gone for Souths. Good chance at the northern end. Stewart runs the decoy. Sutton was going to bat it, but then he had to pull it back in. Got it to Inglis. Inglis goes for the corner. The big fella's down. A metre away from the corner post. Talanoa then. A dummy half, long and high for John Sutton. Puts in a little grubber kick. Then he puts another kick in. It came off the back of Robson to an offside player. Penalty Souths.
Ball here now.
And it looks like they're going to tap and run here, South Sydney. They're in a positive frame of mind, aren't they? The ball is zipping along the line.
Greg Inglis taking the tap.
Well, last set was fairly ordinary. Didn't put a lot of pressure on Parramatta, but the pressure is maintained now.
Locked in there.
Stewart playing it on the first. Luke goes long. Sando goes short, and Pettybourne was running onto it. Full steam ahead. Pettybourne playing it. Sando to dummy half. Lofted ball. And Luke is taken by Smith. He tries to shrug him off. He does. And hanging on was Casey Maguire around the legs initially. Hindmarsh and Manor involved. Tyrrell dummy half. Sando back for Wesser. Up in his back line incessantly tonight. 10 metres away from the line. Played by Reese. Here's Tyrrell running it now at Lasalo, who combines with Manor and Hindmarsh to pull him down. 5 gone then for South. At 6-all, another chance. Back now for Sando. Puts the kick over towards Talanoa. He's gone into touch, over the sideline, back to the 20 for the restart.
Oh, good defence from Parramatta, but again, not great attack from South Sydney. That was their second set in a row, and Greg Inglis and David Taylor didn't touch the football. I would have thought they would be go-to men at some stage, but they were out here on the left-hand side waving their arms. The football nowhere near them.
Shackleton.
Turn! Here's the 10, right? Hold!
35 metres away from their own line with Hindmarsh to the middle of the ground and tackled on the 40. 286th game tonight for Nathan. It's just a couple away from that magical 10,000 mark. And here's Mortimer getting a kick off before he was challenged by David Tyrrell. Wesser out from his 20. and put down by Hindmarsh, who'll get a tackle for that, and Lasalo. So Hindmarsh is one away from it now. 32 metres out from South Sydney's line.
Will there be fireworks and all sorts of things?
I shouldn't think so. Asatasi taken around the bootlaces by Maguire and over the top by Manor. Played by Roy, and now here's Nathan Merritt running it out, and he's run it straight at Ben Smith, who puts him down. Luke then goes across the face of Wesser to Sutton, back for Wesser. Good ball from Wesser. Here's Greg Inglis, one to beat, draws the defence. Talanoa scores. Tackled by Hindmarsh in goal. Talanoa has scored for the Rabbits. Lovely work, Reece Wesser. This is the Reece Wesser party.
Did you say good ball? What about great ball? How did Reece Wesser get that football into the hands of Greg Inglis? It was almost like a circus act. Coming down the left-hand side, not much room to work in. The pass back on the inside to Wesser. He's claimed, he flung it. That's left-hand flick in front of the body. You can't do that. He passed a touch early, did Inglis, but Talanoa enough space to step back on the inside. But Reece Wesser, take a bow.
If you have an autumn checklist, you can check off your weeding and your fertilising, which makes for a stronger, healthier garden over the winter period.
1 litre weed killer, just $12.86. 85 litre storage container, $29.97. Outdoor bistro blind, a low $88. Sugarcane mulch, $13.70. Solar pathlight, only $2.50.
We have everything you need here for autumn at warehouse prices.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Sando from the sideline. Tough kick. And it's on its way, and it's looking good. It's looking good, and it's a converted try for Talanoa and Reece Wesser. Watch it again. Watch it again. Enjoy it. Delight at it.
You honestly, you can't imagine how difficult that pass is to actually get to go backwards. That's one out of the box. I'm not sure whether John Lang had wanted to throw too many of them, but that one counted.
There's the 10,000th tackle for Nathan Hindmarsh. And here's the ball, coughed up, advantage Parramatta. Mortimer, Asatasi coughing it up, and he's ruled that a knock-on happened. So Checken will put a scrum down. So 10,000 for that bloke on screen, in centre screen. Nathan Hindmarsh, 286th game, and he racks up that magical number.
Yeah, the quality of Nathan Hindmarsh's defence has always been his cover on the inside. The crucial tackles Nathan Hindmarsh has made has been when he snuffed out danger when other players wouldn't have put themselves in the position to chase as far and as often.
It's young Morgan under that tackle. They're really testing him out. Now Moi 12-6 in favour of South Sydney there. Parramatta with 2 tries disallowed. Hindmarsh goes back to Mortimer. Sando came up and he was beaten by Mortimer. Now Mortimer comes back and finds Fui, and he will play the ball 8 metres out from the South Sydney line. Casey Maguire. Behind Manor, Robson, little kid, Inglis turning, and grasses the ball. Believe it or not, from the glossary of rugby league, that is a touchdown. What you just saw there.
I was a little bit worried about Sando's attempted tackle there. He came racing up for another one of those hits. And I got an inkling he stuck his leg out and was pretty lucky not to trip his opposite number. I might be mistaken. He comes up very quickly and throws that leg out. He threw the leg right in front of Mortimer there. I don't think intentional, was just reflex, but get himself into trouble doing that.
Here's Manor. And Moi is out there. Roy Asatasi comes off, so does Luke Stewart. The starting front row for South's off. Moi playing the ball. They're 20 metres away in the centre of the ground. Maguire goes left side for Hindmarsh, who goes short to Mortimer. Nothing doing out there. And now Maguire goes up the middle, having a look around. Moy is with the ball, gets an offload away to Mortimer, and Mortimer sees a little gap and tries to pump those little legs through. He plays a 10 away from the line. It's gone to his partner, Jeff Robson. Robson comes across, puts this little kick in again, in behind Talanoa has lost the ball, but then I think it's been forced. And it'll be a mistake by the defending side. I'm reading it as a line dropout.
Yeah, no doubt that he's got downward pressure on this, I would feel. It was a fumble. It was pretty ordinary play by Parramatta, and the kick was a little bit of a rush one. There was no one really chasing. They're looking for offside. There's no offside. Talanoa gets a fumble. Boop, up, yep. Yeah, he grounds it there. No problem.
He got an awful bounce, didn't he, the winger?
Yeah, I think he grounds it twice. I think that's one of those torso groundings right there. And then he puts his hand on it there.
Look at the front ankle, please, Marley. He's got it.
It's grounding, it's grounding, that's grounding.
Sean Hampstead in the video referee's box tonight. South ready for their line dropout.
They don't look comfortable in attack, Parramatta, Peter, do they? It's a little bit all over the place.
And that's been the case for a couple of seasons. Gus, I've always said that they look more likely to score from 55 metres than they do from 15. He actually did well there, Jeff Robson, not to throw the initial pass because his players on the outside had overrun him. Sometimes I think it's almost too structured, and they have too many settlers in the opposition 20 for my liking.
This is Manna, just inside the 30-metre line. Moy again, running at Wesser, and Wesser, Taylor and Pettybourne make the tackle. Ben Ross has gone on for Luke Stewart as they go left side for Manna to use Mortimer, to use Hayne. There's an extra. Walker for the line. He's over, and I think he's got downward pressure on it. Referee is going to point to the spot. So Parramatta at last get the benefit of the officialdom. 12-10 the Rabbits.
They got it right on that occasion, and it was a structured play. These sweeping second-man plays that teams like to put on, and Chris Walker was actually grounded short of the line. Daniel Mortimer, he committed Tyrrell. That created a 3-on-2 and a short ball from Hayne, but he does get taken over the line by the number 3, Farrell.
Yeah, hun, I can't believe it either. The day your mum's coming over and there's no pasta in the whole supermarket. I know. It's crazy, right? I've got the manager right here. Apparently there's a pasta strike or something. Look, don't worry, I've got a plan. I'm thinking sweet potatoes and chicken. Love you.
Do whatever you have to for KFC's irresistible new sweet potato chips. Their delicious sweet potato family banquet has all the family favourites.
Oh, isn't it good?
That's why it's so good.
That's what Luke Burt has got. 22 out, 2 in. On its way, looks good, doesn't it? Flags are up. He doesn't miss off, and he's one of the great goal kickers. And there's 12 all to score. Brad Fiddler sideline.
Sometimes you just got to give Jared Hayne the ball. I know Steve Carney's really trying to put some responsibility on these halves to come down and make some plays and make some opportunities. I've watched Jared Hayne call for the ball 3 or 4 times and not get it. When a bloke like that wants the ball, you got to give it to him.
Here's Manna. 20 metres away from his own line. We're locked up again at 12-12 now.
He came to the sideline at one stage, Tim Manna. In fact, now he's running off. So he's been out there for 28 minutes. He only played 25 all up against the Panthers last week. I don't know if there was a problem with him at all, but the man who played Origin last year, it's a fairly short stint over an 80-minute contest.
Notice that Shannon McPherson is out there now for Souths in head bandage and wearing jumper 15 to the halfway line, and Mortimer puts his kick in. It'll be nice for Wesser. He comes outside the 20-metre line and takes it out about 28 metres from that line they're defending down at the southern end of ANZ Stadium. Of course, this is the home of the $1 million drop. 8:30 on Monday night. I was about to say this is the home, of course, of the only Origin match to be played in New South Wales this year. Tickets for which are quite available. Almost half an hour of the game gone, and we've had some sensations and we've had some spectacular stuff. There's no doubt West's pass will finish up on the highlights reel, and here's a mistake by the Rabbits, by Isaac Luke.
Back it up, South. Wait. Back. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty competitive contest at the moment. I think both sides are struggling a little in attack, but as you've seen, they've got points in them, mainly because the defences are making a few mistakes under pressure.
Well, that's a good shot there by David Tyrrell on Moi. And Michael Crocker is out there as well now, and that's Horrow, the 15 for Parramatta, playing it on the South's 40-metre line. Moi, Robson goes over, Hayne comes in, comes to Big Taylor, and Taylor wrestles him down with the help of Isaac Luke. Maguire got a quick play the ball, he goes towards centre ground, he beat one, he's intercepted by Sando. Chrissy Sando still going. Burt tried to put a shoulder on him, eventually came back and got him more conventionally.
He just pinched that, didn't he? Looked like Maguire was going to put someone through a hole, and Sandow just went pluck.
Taylor now out to Inglis, and Inglis taking it down towards the 30-metre line.
We've got a problem here if one of the Parramatta players, Casey Maguire, has just limped off and gone straight to the ground as Shannon McPherson takes it inside the opposition 30.
So Matthew Keating has gone on, and South's attack just inside the 30-metre line, closer to the 20-metre line now for Michael Crocker. Fourth tackle, and the Rabbits with a chance. Sando, he puts it in behind for Merritt, and Hayne, well, who forced that ball dead?
No, it's just run dead, right?
Yeah,
done a great job to shield.
I think Jared Hayne just took Merritt out of the way, and the ball has gone dead in goal from the kick, so it'll be a 20-metre tap to Parramatta.
Brad Fittler on the sideline.
Hey, Rabbi, we're the happiest girl in the stadium, Christina Caffrey. Are you enjoying what you see?
Yeah, it's very good. Really enjoying it.
What about Jared? What about her?
Yeah, good teeth. Yeah.
What about Jared's game?
Good, as far as what I can tell anyway. You know, I'm no expert. I'm a Gaelic supporter.
Do you know what you're looking at?
Rugby.
One question, if you had a chance and you're in the drama again, is there anyone out there, any other players that you'd like to be saved by?
To be honest, I never want to be out there in that situation ever again.
Thanks for your time. Hope you enjoy the night.
Welcome. Thanks very much.
Christina Caffrey, who was the victim in all of that and saved by Jared, and I think his dad.
Kick there from Daniel Mortimer, just finding touch inside the final 10 minutes now. We've had 4 tries, and neither of these teams have been able to put tries back to back. Rabbits scored in the 9th minute. 4 minutes later, the Eels hit back. Talanoa scored in the 21st minute. 6 minutes later, the Eels hit back. And what about this one at Brookie? The 2 most impressive winners of last weekend. The Seagulls will take on the Knights. The Knights on top of the competition ladder. And you'll see that from 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
This is John Sutton with the ball.
It'll be a magic start to the season if the Knights can win 3 games in a row away from home, won't it? Jesus, doesn't that set them up well? But Manly were very good last Sunday.
Played by McPherson now, and then the dummy half pass to Taylor. Suspect. Ben Smith, the low tackler. Robson over the top. And that's Ben Ross with the ball up to the 40-metre line. I had to laugh when Brad said, "Do you know what you're looking at?" I thought she might have said, "I'm looking at you, man."
We should have got Sam Burgess to interview her, and that way
that would have been really
no
good.
idea.
Exactly.
Charge down
Here's
here.
a charge down. It'll be play on for Ben Smith. He got a favourable bounce. He beat Wesser. He steps away from Ben Ross. He got the ball away to Justin Horrow. Horrow's taken 10 out from the line. Parramatta with a chance.
Oh, Isaac, was that Isaac Luke? He's been trampled He put his body on the line right in front of Moi, and he's not healthy. He's not a well young man.
It's another one of these low tackles on a big man head on. Very courageous, but also poor technique there. Look at that. That's
the knee's got him as well.
Yeah, that's what happens. See, you bend down in front of these big blokes head on, and you are candidate for something like that. Terrible.
We'll take a break and come back to ANZ in just a moment.
Terrible, all right. He's in the dream team.
Autumn's fantastic time to be painting, getting all those painting projects done, the roof, the fence, get it all done before the onset of winter.
Steel step ladder $39.90. Super Tool 5 drawer trolley $199. 4 litre British paints in colour $54.90. Leaf and grass rake $3.76. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Come in and get the lowest prices every day.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
And back here at ANZ Stadium, attention still being given to Isaac Luke. And as you can see, he's concussed. He's not at all well. That's Chris McQueen, who will go on for Isaac.
Yeah, that might be the last we see of young Isaac Luke tonight. He's not well at all. He'd love to battle on, but I'm sure that the medical staff will only be concerned with the player welfare, and that would mean that he wouldn't be back. This is the charge down from Ben Smith. He got a nice bounce, and then I thought he might have been better off just to try and beat Reece Wesser on the outside and go for the corner. He's a former centre three-quarter, but by stepping back on the inside and finding support in Horro, it actually allowed the chasers to come across in cover from that side. Parramatta attacking now through Hindmarsh.
5 out from the line. McQueen is on, Luke is off, and Keating goes to the short side for Mortimer. They run an angle, and Horro comes back to the middle of the ground. Taken down by McQueen, I think it is, as it comes across now for Hayne. He comes into his back line. He almost spun free from the tackle of John Sutton, but Hayne gingerly plays the ball. Now it's gone over for Robson. He puts a kick across, and the jump is okay, and it's come down to Parramatta. It's 6 more tackles, and here's Hayne again. 10 away from the line. 5 minutes of the first half remain. And Keating gives the ball to Lasalo, and Lasalo pulled down by McQueen again with some help from... Here's a chance as they try to back it across the line, Parramatta, but he's ordering held up.
Held up on tackle 2.
And it's tackle 2.
You give him the mark. Wait for the whistle, wait.
Yeah. Wait for the whistle.
So Parramatta with 4 tackles on this set. And here's Moi looking at the shoulder of David Tyrrell. Play back for Keating. Keating goes over to Robson. Robson's pass is a horror. It's on the ground, and eventually Ben Smith had it, but he's lost it.
As soon as he got from his tackle, he's on the ground. That's right, scrum.
He's calling for a scrum.
Yeah, what he's saying, as soon as Ben Smith dives on the ball here, the tackle has been affected. Now, he'll dive on the ball. Man coming from behind tackles him and he loses it. Why isn't that play on? The tackle hasn't been affected. Why isn't that play on? Rabbits? Rabbits!
I don't know.
Well, the referee is, again, explaining it to the players down there. As soon as the man touches him with his hand, it constitutes a tackle, but I agree. I don't see why.
He's had a few calls tonight, Chicken Legs checking, hasn't he? He's been in the news.
This is McQueen. We had Vic Morrow the other day. Today we've got Steve McQueen. From combat to the great escape. Played by Ben Ross. This is McPherson.
We've got Mick Crocker operating out of dummy half out there now for the injured Isaac Luke as Chris Sando drives it in between, or in behind Luke Burt.
And
keeps it in.
There's one way of getting rid of a tackler. And Hayne has only got one alternative here. Well, there isn't an alternative. It's just a matter of playing it back to Luke Burt. Just inside the 10-metre line. That's Waisili. Brad Fittler sideline.
Update on Case Maguire. He's gone into the sheds. We're not quite sure whether he's going to take another part in the game or not. We'll find out. Find out very shortly for you, Ravi.
Moi. And then Keating, just a short ball over to Mortimer. And Mortimer to play it just 32 metres out from his own line. And here's the big... Oh, Hayne is knocked on. In front of the uprights, 25 out.
Well, he was just winding up for one of those big spiral kicks downfield, and he forgot to catch the ball. Let's have a look. He's all ready to kick and fumble and puts it down. And dear, oh dear. Big chance for South to finish on a high note here. A couple of minutes before the break.
And this is Tyrrell. 15 out from the line. Played to Michael Crocker, and here's Sando. Plenty to choose from. Sutton tries to go through. 7 metres out from that line. Nathan Merritt, and it's way to Chris Sando, and he hands it over to Michael Crocker. Crocker then within about 3 metres of the line. Sutton away to Wesser. And it's come off Parramatta, and it's with Waisili.
Well, from what I've seen of the Parramatta right-hand defence here tonight, they're totally outclassed by their opposite numbers. And South Sydney would do well just to restrict their attack to that side of the field. They are really threatening the Parramatta right-hand defence. What's the decision-making here at Parramatta? They're really not quite sure what to do. Some go in, some stay out, so I'll better run up and just bat the ball, knocks it forward on purpose. South Sydney just need to take it to the post and keep coming back at that right-hand defence.
So here's Wesser, taken down by Walker, 12 metres away from the line. And this is Shannon McPherson. Now they're fanned out back to this Parramatta right side defence, and Michael Crocker has taken up a tackle and he's knocked on.
See, that's what I can't understand with South Sydney. Where was the halfback? Crocker was looking for the halfback when he came out of dummy half. Sando had gone to the other side of the field, to the right-hand side. Look where Sando's standing. He's the halfback, the number 7. He's wandering around saying nothing and doing nothing. He should be over here and pushing Sutton wide and getting the ball out to the edges. Crocker came out of dummy half and thought, where's my halfback? And just got belted from behind. That's poor structure.
So, just a matter of 15 seconds remaining before the break as Horrow brings it out to the 20-metre line. 12 points all to score. 2 tries apiece. Parramatta had 2 disallowed, though. And the tries have gone to Wesser and Talanoa. And for the Eels, it was Robson and Walker as Souths come across the park. And that is officially now half-time. So a real struggle for both sides. Next in Toyota half-time, a shot of Isaac Luke. Peter Sterling and Brad Fittler take us through the first 40 minutes. We'll bring you some big news from our wonderful friends at Toyota. This is Friday Night Football on the home of the best, Channel 9.
Australia's beauty pageant princesses. On a Current Affairs Sunday, those over-the-top contests, now down under. Fake tans, body waxing, even false teeth. All for fame and big cash prizes. Would your family handle the pressure?
It's every little girl's dream to look like a princess.
A Current Affairs Sunday.
Yeah, hun, I can't believe it either. The day your mum's coming over and there's no pasta in the whole supermarket. I know. It's crazy, right? I've got the manager right here. Apparently there's a pasta strike or something. Look, don't worry, I've got a plan. I'm thinking sweet potatoes and chicken. Love you.
Do whatever you have to for KFC's irresistible new sweet potato chips. Their delicious sweet potato family banquet has all the family favourites. That's why it's so good.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Does your current insurer understand your passion? At Shannon's, we're motoring enthusiasts, just like you. We understand the passion you have for your special car or bike. But did you know that Shannon's will also insure your daily drive, the car you drive every day? So if you're a motoring enthusiast, you've got to be with Shannon's. So call Shannon's on 13 46 46. Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
When it comes to fun, why visit 2 parks when you can visit 3? The VIP Pass, that's 3 parks, unlimited entry till June 30, $99.99. You can't beat that. Visit myfun.com.au or call 133FUN.
At Sleep City right now, save up to 40% off mattresses. That's right, up to 40% off. Great mattress brands at great prices. With up to 40% off mattresses at Sleep City, you better hurry.
Sleep City, here we come.
For as long as I can remember, I've always asked why when I've been told no. And it's not like I try to be difficult. It's more that I just never like being told what I can't do. And nothing cemented that belief more for me than the incident. That was when the boys from Coke Zero approached me about my footy project. You see, we both share a passion for saying why not. And that's why we decided to create Team Left Field. Over the past few years, I've been assembling a team of top footy players with extraordinary abilities. I reckon in a game, we only see 30% of their true potential. My challenge is push their abilities into bold new territory. Perfect humans, aren't they? I do warn you, though, what you will see will change the way you think. Heroes never cry. Do they, Sam? The players are ready. The challenges are set. You won't believe what happens next. This is footy talent as you've never expected.
Shane's always wanted a dual cab ute, and he bought a Great Wall V240 4x2, loaded with features. Did you get a good deal, Shane?
No. Got a great deal.
Great Wall Motors, the great cars of China.
Say no-go to hair loss with new Men's Regain Foam. The easy-to-use foam treatment that goes on easy and dries quickly. Shown in a clinical trial to keep or regrow hair in 9 out of 10 men. So now, keeping your hair could be the easiest part of your routine. New Men's Regain Foam. Stop losing, start gaining.
Why is everyone giving Alex money?
Is that for luck?
No, just kissing it goodbye.
You won't believe
Oh, God, what have I done?
the horror he's unleashed on an unsuspecting world. A new 2.5 Men, Monday 7:30 on 9.
Toyota Halftime is brought to you by Toyota and its dealers, working to help raise over $500,000 for grassroots football.
Welcome back live to ANZ Stadium and the Toyota halftime. 12-all between the Eels and the Rabbitohs. And speaking of Toyota, they are proud to announce the release of the new FJ Cruiser, which marks the return of the legendary workhorse. The Toyota FJ series are remembered as indestructible, and now they're back on the road again and designed to go almost anywhere. So look out for the Toyota FJ Cruiser as the legend returns.
Very cool.
Let's have a look at the stats of the first half, Freddie. Another legend I'm with. And not a great deal between them, which is no surprise with the kind of contest we've seen in the opening 40.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like both sides are out there trying to get something on. They're very tentative in what they do. Every now and then you see flashes of brilliance and blokes really throwing their whole body at it. But generally, you look at the stats, there's a couple of more missed tackles to Parra, a few more errors, pretty much a pretty even game.
OK, we've got 4 tries, 2 apiece. Neither side able to go back-to-back, which I mentioned. I did think we saw a telltale play from South Sydney out there tonight. Chris Sando took an intercept on the far side of the field. From the next play, 3 long passes to get Greg Inglis into space, deliberately trying to get the football to him as quickly as they could.
The one thing I've been watching, he's been down my side of the field. He's wanting the ball. couple of times he's pushed Big Dave Taylor out wide and said, let me get the ball to you. And you could tell he wants to get involved. It's just a matter of them getting in position and get him the ball.
Well, in the 9th minute, he did exactly that. Nice little move down the left side. Back on the inside of Jeff Robson. Got the left arm free and found Reece Wesser back on the inside. That was converted. But 4 minutes later, Jeff Robson put on a nice little move of his own close to the line.
What a silky pass there by Case Maguire. I've watched him do that all year. I don't think anyone's really worked out how to stop it yet. And have a look at this Reece Wesser on the inside. What about that ball?
That is absolutely magnificent. I said John Lang might not want to see too many of those kind of passes, but that was perfect in execution. And then a nice set play to the left from Parra.
Yeah, Daniel Monument gave the ball to Jared Hayne. And Jared Hayne went to the line, caused some disturbance amongst the defenders, and Chris Walker was too good. He got over the line for a 4-pointer, and Lukey Burt, the safe Luke Burt, kicked the goal.
Okay, the opening 10-15 minutes crucial in this second half.
Absolutely. I really feel Parramatta, once they get down, they seem to get down here easy enough, but they're not patient enough. You know, if they can get some patience, you can see the south side can't really stay with the game for that long in defence. And on the other hand, South Sydney will get the ball to Greg.
Okay, well, let's go up to Glenn Munsey.
Thanks, Pete. Well, the great thing about live betting, boys, that you can bet right through the game here. South started favourite. We see now Parramatta into favouritism now with the score at 12 points all. You can also bet on the total number of points. A stack of live betting options still available. Next try scorer and last try scorer, 133 390. Back to you, Sterlo.
Thank you. And, of course, our second game tonight, we go north of the border for the Gold Coast Titans at home to the Brisbane Broncos, an all-Queensland affair. And we do know that Queensland has been through some very tough times of late. Now, the easiest way to help Queensland recover is to take a holiday out there. Go and enjoy the beaches, the rainforest, the reef, and don't be afraid to encourage your family and the friends to do the same. Of course, Easter holidays are just around the corner, and the Gold Coast, it's ready and waiting to welcome you with some wonderful accommodation deals. No better place to relax and unwind. And if you want more information, log on to queensland.com.au. And that's just where I'd like to be heading. But we've got a second half coming up very, very shortly. At the break, at half-time, 12 all between Parramatta and South Sydney, all to play for in just a moment.
Toyota Halftime is brought to you by Toyota and its dealers, working to help raise over $500,000 for grassroots football.
Caroline and Sean have to give away their newborn son. The outrageous baby mix-up that will leave you speechless. Plus, the delightful Jennifer Hawkins drops the baby news on fiancé Jay.
Well, I didn't know that, no.
60 Minutes, Sunday 7:30.
New Pure Blonde White. Purer than what you're thinking.
Everyone dig in, share it around. Right here. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Italian-inspired stone-fired range. The finest ingredients like suppressor salami, cherry tomatoes and rocket, all on a traditional stone-fired pizza base. You've got to try them all.
I think we've made a breakthrough. And I wanted to show you guys a couple of things.
There's a better way to fight flakes. Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo fights flakes for up to 6 weeks, guaranteed.
It takes you to the places that take your breath away. It brings back home what home really means. It sparks the moments you can't help but seize, and writes the stories you'll tell years from now. It has a present, but it lives in the future. It's motion, the best destination of all.
Get set for Super Saturday at Harvey Norman from 8 till 8 this Saturday only. Super store-wide offers, knockout prices. LG 5.1 DVD home theatre system, never seen before, $99. Aussie twin pack pillows, not $39.95, now $12.95. 25% off Australian-made fabric and leather lounges. Toshiba laptop, now $3.94, save $194. Much more in store. Doors open early from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. this Saturday. Harvey Norman's Super Saturday. Don't miss out.
Go! When it comes to fun, why visit 2 parks when you can visit 3? The VIP Pass. That's 3 parks, unlimited entry till June 30, $99.99. You can't beat that. Visit myfun.com.au or call 133-FUN.
It's Jan's birthday. There's cake.
Not now, Ryan. I'm texting directions to a customer.
Well, there's always time for cake.
Always celebrate, Ryan. Each time I solve a problem for a Telstra customer.
please take a break today? Read a good book.
Oh, well, I've got 2.
Well, at least get some fresh air.
Oh. We're always here when you need us. Call 1234.
New Pure Blonde White. Purer than what you're thinking.
Monday, new hopes, new dreams.
A new chance for a whole new life.
Here comes the drop.
Oh my God. Can this Aussie couple make a fairy tale come true?
New The $1 Million Drop, Monday, 8:30 on 9. Friday Night Football, brought to you by the new Toyota FJ Cruiser. A legend returns. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. The new Streetwise menu from KFC. It's so good. Keno. Clean up with Keno and the NRL. Officeworks. Biggest brands, lowest prices. VB, the beer of the NRL. And TAB Sports Bet. You're on.
South Sydney on their way. Parramatta and South Sydney doing battle at ANZ Stadium. Parramatta home game. And as I said at the top of the show, this is the 6th successive game they've played here at ANZ since 2008. Parramatta apparently have got a contract here with ANZ to provide a couple of games. And then the balance of their home games, they're contracted to the Parramatta Stadium Trust, as far as I know. They next week play the Cowboys at Parramatta, and Souths play the Sea Eagles at Gosford.
Yeah, up at Blue Tongue. Looking forward to that one, not far from home. And I think at the beginning of every season, I look at it and a club comes in and they've got high hopes, and you're set short and your long-term goals. And I've always thought that after 5 games, a club would obviously like to have won all 5. They'd be wrapped with 4 out of 5. But they're at least they'd want 3 out of 5. Anything less than that, then they've had a poor start to the year and they've got ground to make up. Well, these clubs now, if they're going to get to that 3 or 4 mark, this is a must-win game.
I was reading somewhere conversely, I haven't got clear memory on it, that a team losing their first 3, and I guess they were talking about South Sydney. The number of teams to go on and win a competition, I think, is only 2. And very few actually have made the top 4.
Well, I think both teams come back from the half-time break believing they'll win. I reckon there'll be talk in the half-time dressing room that if they can just dominate field position, there are enough poor defenders in each opposition team to produce points. I think South Sydney, if they keep going to their left, will really trouble this Parramatta right-hand defence. Parramatta look good when Jared Hayne gets the ball with room to move. So both will hold ambitions for victory here. A big cheerio to our people in Port Moresby up there tonight. I believe at Jack Pettick Park there's a crowd of 20,000 people, Rabbits, gathered around the big screen TV provided by the Governor at Port Moresby. They love your Friday night footy, Rabbits.
And there's the restart. Off the boot of young Farrell, and it's been a magnificent kick, and it's put South Sydney straight on the attack.
Hands away.
So played by Talanoa, and that is Ben Ross with the ball, 12 metres out from the line. So the opening set goes to South Sydney. McPherson plays it in the middle of the ground. And they go to Parramatta's right side defence. Taylor's out there now. And Taylor's able to get it away. Talanoa's over. Well, how quick did that come? In the first 60. Chicken pointing to the spot. Taylor on the blind side of Parramatta's right side defence. And sliding a ball to Fatuli Talanoa.
Well, this is the kickoff, and I think it's Ben Smith who has the ball bounce in front of him, comes off his body. A Superman dive to try and rectify the situation, but it popped up for the eventual try scorer, Talanoa. Now we've got Dave Taylor. He's got 4 hanging off him. Nobody wrapping up the football. And it's a great pass. Talanoa half volleys to score.
That's the money side for South Sydney. Dave Taylor, John Sutton, Greg Inglis, fellas like Reece West are just waiting in behind Talanoa. They'll come up with a couple of tries there in this second half if they keep going there. That was what we highlighted from the first half, and only took a minute in the second half for them to come up with a try.
Try scorer for the second time tonight, Talanoa. He scored that try off that freakish ball from Reece Wesser.
Haven't we seen some mistakes and unusual restarts this year with simple drop balls over the sideline, over the dead ball line, short restarts? There's just another one to add to the list. That's something you see every game.
It's Chris Sando coming around nicely. Oh, these kickers are really online. So Souths go out to a 6-point lead again. Brett Fittler sideline.
Trebby, I spent a bit of time watching Souths in the pre-season. The first time I saw them, they looked very slow, very cumbersome. The second time I saw them, there was Inglis, Taylor, Johnny Sutton, all on that left-hand side. They kept doing that move non-stop in that same shape, and I walked away from their training going, well, if they get this on every game, it cannot be stopped.
Ben Ross with a big charge back, getting it about 16 metres out from the line. It's Dave Tyrrell with the ball, and the defence winning that battle. A dominant is called by the referee. Now McPherson again. So 18-12 in favour of South Sydney. Just a reminder, that match on Sunday at Brookvale will come to you at 4 o'clock. The Eagles and Newcastle. And of course, members of the Newcastle club get to make a decision on that club's future at that meeting coming up during the week. Here's Sando driving it down towards Hayne. Hayne perfectly positioned, and he comes to John Sutton, and Sutton puts him away. Hayne just inside the 30-metre line. That pass from Ben Smith, it was forward.
Well, it was lazy. That was really, really lazy. And there's no other word to describe it. This isn't bad luck. This is just lazy play. Look at that. Both from the man hitting it up and the man at dummy half who can't bend his back to get it done properly. That is just lazy, lazy football. Where are we? We're 3.5 minutes into the second half. You shouldn't be tired. That's not a tiredness problem. That's just a lack of attention to detail, lack of care.
Reece Wesser. Ben Smith has been involved in a couple of incidents since the restart. The last thing he needs here for his confidence is a try to be scored against them. Played by McQueen. This is Ross. One of the feel-good stories of rugby league is Ben Ross. Michael Crocker, it's come away to Sando, and Dave Tyrrell is taken there by Chris Walker, channeling in. With Nathan Hindmarsh, they put him away. Play by Tyrrell. Now for Sando. Goes on out to John Sutton, and Sutton gets it to Greg Inglis, and he's pulled down. Good tackle by Ben Smith there. Some help from Lasalo to the middle of the ground. Sando, a little plug into the end goal. Hayne is not going anywhere. It's line dropout time.
Yeah, that's nice. Really nice from Chris Sando. Sometimes his fifth tackle options can be a little rushed, but here's this sweeping play out to the left-hand side again. This time they bring Inglis back on the inside. He's always a handful from there. And Sando just shreds the needle there, feathers it into the end goal, and they get a restart and more pressure for the Parramatta side. Good work.
Lovely kick. He was under pressure, and quick hands from Jared Hayne as well. He's taking his time with the restart.
So the dropout is magnificent. Goes all of 57 metres for Shannon McPherson to run it back a good distance, really. He has got play back to the 30-metre line, and it's played back for Michael Crocker. Oh, Ben Ross is taken high.
Moi.
Fui has gone up high on Ben Ross.
On report.
And he's on report.
On report.
And he's advanced the mark. He's advanced the mark against Moi.
Hang on, he's had something more to say here. He's told him to zip it once. Moi hasn't. He might not leave the referee any option shortly.
Run 10, kept going, now go.
10 minutes in the bin. The second offence would be dissent.
Wait till he's off. Wait till he's off.
So the first was back chat, and the second would be dissent.
You never win. There's just no upside. You might be upset and disappointed and all of those things, but the referee's not going to change his mind. And in the end, he was told once to can it. He didn't. So the referee had no choice.
Well, that's just such an ordinary start to the second half from Parramatta. There it is. He's given on report. Moi says something. He marches him 10. That usually should be enough. Moi says something again, and the referee's got no alternative. I mean, he's backed the referee into that. Moi's done all this himself. High tackle, gobful, dissent, and he's had another go at him.
He did have another go too.
That could have nearly been sent off. Don't come back.
Sando there.
Terrible start by Parramatta at the second half. Just awful.
Right in front on the 20-metre line. Sando raising the flags. So now they go to 8. 20 plays 12. Isaac Luke with his family around him now.
Well, that's the best sight we've seen tonight. Tough as teak. Kiwi International sitting up, Bub on his lap, and that's the best thing that's going to come out of this game.
Brad, what's the injury update you've got?
Mate, Casey Maguire, he won't be back for the rest of the game. He's got a calf problem. And then, of course, just looking at Isaac Luke down there with his family, he won't be back and take part in the rest of the game either.
Parramatta with 12 men now. Case of battening down the hatches. Not letting anything else escape until he gets back.
Well, it's just irresponsible from Moi. That's just letting your ego get in the way of what you're supposed to be doing out there. He's let all his teammates down for the sake of a bit of ego.
Talanoa. McPherson. And this is this lock forward who's been strong.
He's been very good tonight, hasn't he?
He has,
Dave
Pete, he has. The #1 fan of Superman, Dave Tyrrell. He's got Superman tattooed on his chest. His mum actually dressed him up as Superman when he was just 12 months old.
Do you know all of this?
Well, I read the paper today. Here's a rebound.
Yeah, Sando's kick went into the Parramatta players. I think it was a man who had to get the ball now. And Lasalo.
He's even got a Superman doona.
Take your word for it.
Now Chris Walker's in trouble. Here's Heinmarsh. 8-point lead. Rabbitohs 20, Parramatta 12. Early stages of...
Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Has gone down. Sando appeared to put a shoulder on him, and Horro just clutched at his cheek and his face. And they've called timeout. And Sando just taking a sheepish look across at his victim.
This
which in this case is Horro.
That's a head clash to both of them. Oh, wow.
Justin Horro.
Wow.
No wonder he grabbed at his face. And Chris Sando was quoted as saying, I've got to cut down my shoulder charges.
Well, what he does is try to blindside players. He likes to come in from where they're not looking and come up with the big hit. And that's all well and good, but
every now and then you're going to get the shock reaction from the man with the ball, and he's going to catch you with an elbow or a head clash, and you know, it's dangerous.
What's up here before he caught the fucking ball?
Well, he's up. That's a good sign.
Nice and calm this set, Teddy.
Nathan Hindmarsh is taking up the case for Justin Horrow. I think I heard him say he was there before he got the ball. He was probably asking the question about attacking the head of an opposing player with the shoulder as well. That would be all part of what Nathan's on about.
It wasn't the shoulder that did the damage. It was face on face, and you know, the crowd are booing. But Sando, he could have been as seriously as hurt as what Horrow could have.
So Horrow, another one goes up the tunnel, and this is McQueen.
Give him room, Daniel. Give him room. Hold, boys. Hold. Okay.
Parramatta with Billy Rogers yet to come on. Here's Taylor going towards that right side, and here's Inglis. Inglis a dummy, and he's over. They've gone down that side again, and again they have scored.
That's like shelling peas down there. That was very, very soft, and I have grave fears for Parramatta and the body language they're showing us at the moment. Good work by South Sydney. They've recognised what we recognised at half-time to attack the Parramatta right-hand edge. They've come up with 2 tries. This is nicely played. Get the ball quickly offline. Dave Taylor terrorising them there, and Inglis just too classy.
New Pure Blonde White. Purer than what you're thinking.
Officeworks has the lowest prices. Norton Internet Security just $75.45. And A2 colour prints only $10 each. Find an identical stocked item at a lower price, we'll beat it by 5%. Officeworks, lowest prices every day.
Well, did he celebrate or did he celebrate? It's his second for the year, his 80th career try. Greg Inglis, best player in the world in 2009. And Chris Sando taking the conversion attempt and on its way, and again just absolutely beautiful to watch. Sando's had all the chances to be impeccable, and Luke Burt on occasions.
Well, he can see it head on. Dave Taylor getting in between Morgan and Waiselli, 2 inexperienced players, and the fact the winger came in, it left men on the outside unmarked. Big step, a little dummy from Inglis. And an outstanding conversion from Chris Sando. They took a penalty to put themselves more than a converted try in front. Well, that conversion has now put them outside 2 converted tries. He's almost Darryl Halligan-like tonight.
Asatasi. Talanoa. Just outside the 20-metre line. What's his record in this game so far, Sando? Is it half a dozen?
Yeah, he's converted all 4 tries, and they kicked the penalty goal, so it's 5.
Okay. This is McQueen. Rugged-looking kid. Is the ball going to Asatasi now?
Yeah, good stuff there from Mick Crocker. He saw the retreating defence. He took it on, and
Sutton with a little kick, Peter. Talanoa might get a regather. He gets a kick on it, and Hayne is able to pick up the rolling ball.
Let's go.
This is Morgan. It's a real smash up down that left side for Souths. And here's Hindmarsh now. Parramatta still with 12.
Let's go, South.
You asked about the goal kicking of Chris Sando tonight. Well, he's 5 from 5. He's 12 from 13 this season. There's a chance here for Parramatta. Luke Burt gets through.
There's a way. He's over the halfway, but they're running him down. Sando originally. And Burt is rounded up by Farrell and Merritt. Now through Mortimer. It's found Robson. Turns it in for Shackleton.
5th and last. Let go. Get out of there, Shannon.
26-12, last tackle. Mortimer kicked down into the corner, well covered by Wesser. And Wesser finding the ground about 15 metres out from his own line. This is Nathan Merritt now. He's taken by Chris Walker. Hanging on. Talanoa inside the 30-metre line. Michael Crocker. Shannon McPherson. And McPherson taken by Mortimer and held down by Hindmarsh. Crocker again. Sandoz through to Sutton. And Sutton will play the ball just inside his own half of play. This is the last. And Sando drives it down deep as he can. And it sits up there for Luke Burt. So the 110th try for Luke Burt, proving quite elusive. Fui waiting to come back into the game. This is Morgan. 35 out from his line. Waisili. 8 metres from halfway. The Parramatta crowd begging for a penalty. Hayne put away there under the tackle of Michael Crocker and Shannon McPherson. And a penalty against them.
Well, that one hurts.
Yeah, do you get the feeling, Peter, that since that try by English, all of a sudden the intensity's gone out of South's defence? I mean, those last couple of sets of 6, they've been rolled back really easy. The scoreboard's affected their intensity there.
Yeah, well, that's their problem. And the game is here for them to put a full stop on. And if they're not careful, they gave away a penalty late in the tackle count there. Moimoi will be back in the game in a moment. It'll be 13 v 13. And if Parramatta can put some points on here, this game, which looked like well in their grasp, is up for grabs again.
That's Losalo playing it inside the 20-metre line, and Hindmarsh knocks on. Tyrrell comes up with fair ball. Moimoi about to come back. This is McQueen. 25 metres out from his own line. South's putting Luke Stewart back into the game.
Well, South should really be looking to get this down the other end of the field and just belt Parramatta in defence. Take any chance of a comeback out of the equation. Really load up on them and just and stick it to them, because Parramatta are there to be belted at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think it's any coincidence this man has been put back out there. He's the starch and the steel, Luke Stewart, and this man as well, Pettybourne. He's up the stakes here, John Lang, physically.
The last now for South Sydney, for Sando. And he rakes it back over into that corner where Hayne will try and get out of that squeeze down there, but he straightens it up pretty quickly, and he's taken down 15 out from his line.
This is where South's got to come up and belt now, really start to hit hard in numbers.
This is Waisili. Played on the 20-metre line. Now for Morgan. And Moimoi back on the park, runs a decoy. They go across to Mortimer, and then they pick up Losalo.
Yeah, gee, there was a second man play there. They'd opened up something, but Losalo received the football. There was 3-on-1 on his outside, in behind.
Moimoi playing it on the 40-metre line. And Keating kicks in general play, and it's raking and hooking across to find the touch line about 22 metres out. Stephen Kearney, with obviously plenty on his mind. A reminder that tickets are now on sale for that VB Test match to be played for the first time on the Gold Coast at Skill Park. For tickets, go to ticketek.com.au or 132849. Australia versus New Zealand at the Gold Coast on Friday, May 6th. That's the transferred Test match from Christchurch. And I noticed where the ARL going to ferry free of charge, I think it's 250 people from Christchurch and 250 from North Queensland to that Test match, which is an honourable and admirable thing to do. Here's Pettybourne. 35 metres out from his own line. Hindmarsh the tackler. And Stewart. Hindmarsh has made 46 tackles in the game. He started out the night needing 16 to eclipse 10,000. Well, he's managed that quite easily. Asatasi was taken by Ben Smith. And here's Sutton. He's putting a little kick down towards Hayne, but it's found the line.
Nice.
Really liked his game tonight, John Sutton. Hasn't overplayed his hand. He has combined well with Sando, but he's been an imposing figure out there tonight, but in a controlled way. Mistake-free. He thought about that kick. He summed up his options and came up with the right play, and that means his head's really on his shoulders tonight.
Brand new Top Gear is on Tuesday at 8:30. The guys from Top Gear UK take on our boys from Top Gear Australia. That's Tuesday, 8:30 on 9. As Morgan is tackled 15 metres up the field from his southern try line. And Moi almost through. Luke Stewart won't go away though. McQueen coming in with an assist. And now a short side play for Parramatta. That looks like Rogers is out there. The youngster on debut. Am I right?
Yeah.
Billy Rogers is out there. He was born out at Charleville, played juniors at Gympie, and was a part of Melbourne's Toyota winning Cup team NYC in 2009. That's in there, Billy Rogers. Parramatta then, way to the right for Moi. 2 passes in to the centre of the ground. Southso with Stewart. And now this is Rogers. Shackleton. I think Rogers half thought about not passing, and they've lost the ball. Well, it's getting worse, really. They can't mount anything.
Well, they're awful, and they're very dispirited at the moment. And South Sydney have got to take advantage of this, honestly. They've got to find some intensity for this last 20 minutes and absolutely put Parramatta to the sword, because I reckon if South Sydney lift it now, Parramatta won't offer any resistance. But I'm sensing that South just want to cruise along and play in the comfort zone and not up the stakes on them, and that can invite disappointment. Parramatta aren't going to make a comeback here unless South invite them. South have got a chance to run in 50 here and embarrass Parramatta. Whether they go on with it or not, I don't know. There's Johnny Lang.
Yeah, 350 games tonight for John. Only the 8th coach ever to reach that number. He loves to get involved, get down there. I think it just settles the nerves more than anything for Langy. Pettybourne. And Stewart goes short to Asatasi. Sutton was there. Fred, sideline.
Yes, mate, just an update on Justin Horrow. Massive gash over the left-hand eye, but there was no signs of any breaks, which is good news. And Isaac Luke's just made his way down to the bench, but I can't see him playing anymore.
High ball from Inglis. Players base over apex in their pursuit of the ball. Morgan and Taylor. And Hayne comes up with the ball, has something to say to the referee. That's Rogers, just inside the 20-metre line. So he would have, Billy Rogers, had time under Stephen Kearney and Craig Bellamy, given that he was in that winning Toyota Cup side back in 2009 down in Melbourne. Here's Hayne. Not all of the personnel that you see in a blue and gold jumper, of course, is there through Stephen Kearney, but I would imagine Rogers is an exception to that. Mortimer's kick going down to Wesser. Almost magnetic. Wesser tonight. It seems to be where the football is all of the time. An explosive start to the game. This is Merritt. Michael Crocker then, away to David Taylor. And Shackleton is head on and Robson is there. But they only had limited troops on that left side that time. Here's Stewart taking one around the mouth area from Hindmarsh. On the 40-metre line, Sando. And he got some decoy runners around him. Here's Tyrrell. That's good work by Dave Tyrrell. Here's Merritt down the right side. He centre kicks. Michael Crocker leads the race. Gets the bounce. Scores the try. Michael Crocker, has he got it down? Yes, he has. That's a brilliant piece of support work. If, in fact, it's a try.
Well, South Sydney are very confident. Michael Crocker still on his back. Hasn't played a lot of football for South Sydney at the end of last season and has struggled beginning of this year, but gee, a fit Michael Crocker will be an absolute bonus for the South Sydney team. This is great work again from Tyrrell. The collision and the vision to know that he had an unmarked winger in Nathan Merritt on his far right. All the chases on the inside are onside. Crocker was on the 30-metre line, so he was about 4 metres onside. The bounce, he knocks it forward. It doesn't go into a Parramatta player. And it looked like he got it down on the point of the football. All good.
He was certainly tackled without the ball, wasn't he? No problem.
And the fact that he batted the ball forward doesn't matter. It only matters if, in fact, you gain an unfair advantage, like tapping it over the head of a defending player, things like that. Some people get a bit confused with that rule. Try time again for the Red and Green Army. 30-12 with 15 to go.
Well, that's pleasing. You really want to see him go on with it from here. Michael Crocker has been a valuable player with every club he's played with. A tireless worker. Support player is one of his real strengths. Seen him score a number of tries for Queensland, supporting down the middle of the field, and his time at the Roosters and the Melbourne Storm. It's no coincidence that every club he's played with has had success, and I'm sure he'd like to get some success here with the Rabbitohs. He's had a good night tonight, John Lang. He's made a couple of strategic replacements, and they have come out and attacked Parramatta's right-hand defence well in the second half, so they're on song.
And Sando's on song. Stephen Kearney dejected. John Lang, that is the face of a winning coach at the moment, but that's Langy. Michael Crocker, the try scorer.
Gee whiz, danger signs here for Parramatta, Peter. This looks fairly despondent, doesn't it?
This isn't going to go 10, I don't think. Ooh.
Just short.
It's a penalty.
Well, we'll learn a lot about the character of this Parramatta team in the next 15 minutes. And I'm not sure if I'm missing something here. I mentioned Tim Manor earlier. 25 minutes was the only game time he got against the Panthers last week. He did play the first 25 tonight, and he's back for the last 15. It's not a lot of involvement for one of their best last year, as Burt, some miraculous play to keep that in field.
Chris Walker.
Let go. Let's go.
Taken. Here it is. Look at that.
Quicker, South, quicker.
That is beautiful stuff by Luke Burt. So Parramatta come up with the advantage off the disadvantage.
Well, he'll be relieved because it was his short kickoff that didn't go the distance and concede the penalty, so he got it back straight away.
Matthew Keating going away and showing it before giving it back on the inside for Hindmarsh. So Hindmarsh to play at 32-12. We came back at 12 all, and Souths have put 20 points on them. Mortimer at the 30-metre line to the middle for Robson. His kick going down into the corner for Wesser and Burt. Burt's able to bat it back, and it's taken into touch under the tackle by Farrell.
Well, Luke Burt, he can't believe he's not getting a penalty because he's of the belief that he was held out of that before the ball had arrived. Let's have a look. He's linked up there, held back by the winger, turned around. It's just a contest between Merritt and Burt, and Nathan Merritt, a bit of experience there, gets away with it.
Stay together, boys. South's in a touch.
Reece Wesser is off. I was interested to see before they started the second half, he was on his back and a trainer was working on the leg, trying to relieve some cramp. That was before they started the second half. So it doesn't shock me that Reece is heading up the tunnel now. Well, his job is done.
And they obviously got the scrum feed there, Parramatta, with Manor in front of the posts.
So Manor, a couple of metres out, will play it for Keating. Hindmarsh, a decoy runner. Then Mortimer. Now Moy, straight through Tyrrell. It was like a game of 10 pins. And Big Moi Moi has scored. 32 plays 16 now.
Well, we've seen a stack of big men score early in this season with this play. Frank Pritchard for the Bulldogs, his first game. Nuwasala has scored in similar fashion for the Roosters. It's just a great line run, isolating one player, and you're just not going to stop Moi Moi from that close with a big man at speed coming at you, taking you by surprise.
So Luke Burt to quickly convert. So now it's a 14-point ball game. 32 plays 18. And Brad Fittler on the sideline.
Just like Dave Taylor, you're just not going to stop big Fooey that close to the line. And on Sterling, talking about character. This 15 minutes is a pretty good start to the test of their character, but Parramatta have been renowned for in-house fighting and all these sort of, turn on each other. This is a real test of their team. They've got a brand new coach with a brand new set of beliefs. This is a real test for the Parramatta club. I look forward to see how they react.
Fui Moi Moi back from 10 minutes in the sin bin for dissent, scoring the try, and 32 plays 18 now, so we've reached 50 points in the game. And it's played by Tim Manor now as it goes across for Billy Rogers, and Taylor is all over the top of him. Now it's come away to Mortimer. He showed it once, went behind another, went to Hay, and now it's gone to Walker. And that ball has gone to ground. Did it get touched by South?
Yes.
Yes, it did. Thank you, Peter. Luke Burt plays it back for Fui Moi Moi, who crosses the 40-metre line. And David Tyrrell, he got in front of him again. His head went rocking back. Moi Moi ran straight over the top of David just a few seconds ago to score the try. This is Rogers backing into the defence. 28 out. 10 minutes of the game to go. Here's Robson looking for Manor, and Manor is just inside the 20-metre line. Third tackle gone for Parramatta. Keating, Mortimer shows it, goes behind again. Hayne, and now Walker, now Burt. Burt, did he get it down? Did he get it down for 110? Has he equalled Brett Kenny's record?
Well, if he has, it's a tremendous feat because he had no room to work in. He's not a big man physically. And he was one-on-one with a defender who had the advantage in the fact that he had the sideline there. He ducks down. Let's have a look at his feet. Forget the corner post. Don't worry about that. No, I think it brushes the white line there, the right foot.
I think you're right, Pete. I don't think he's got the 110. What's that back foot? Scraping across the turf. He's confident that he has scored.
No, he's just picked up his kicking tee and he's despondently walking back with the ball.
No try. So it'll have to wait for another day, probably, Luke.
So you get in that tunnel.
And that's young McQueen, Chris McQueen, who's actually playing on the right wing now with Nathan Merritt having gone to fullback in the absence of Reece Wesser. He was physically good enough to stop his current opponent from scoring.
South with the scrum win. And this is Farrell. Hasn't seen a lot of football tonight, Dylan. Eagles versus Knights on Sunday in Sunday football.
Brett Stewart back to Brookie Oval. Brookvale Oval on a Sunday afternoon. And Brett Stewart returns.
Petty ball. And Ben Ross, his brother, back as well this week. And Reece has some ice on the hamstring. Centre of the ground for Luke Stewart, 8 metres short of halfway. And Sutton, his left foot kick. He's a bit like Hayne when he kicks. There's not a lot of effort goes into it, but it goes a long way. And this is Jared Hayne running it back at the kicker. Eventually Michael Crocker and David Taylor made the tackle. That's Waisili, who had that very good game against New Zealand in round one. This is Rogers. He looks a likely type. He's 22 next Tuesday, Billy Rogers. Here's Mortimer now. Getting it about 10 metres into South Sydney's area. Keating goes to Manor, and Manor is tackled on the 30-metre line. Tackled by Crocker again. Here's Mortimer stepping, trying to beat Ross. Got the ball to Keating. Keating got it to Robson. Robson puts a kick in. He's looking for Waisili. The ball bounces point on point and goes dead.
And whilst that was going on, Parramatta kicking it dead. Nathan Hindmarsh has left the field. And Justin Horrow comes back strapped up.
It's been a night of some nasty injuries. Isaac Luke heavily concussed. Horrow, no good news for him.
One there, give him room, back and hold.
Who else did we lose?
Go.
Casey Maguire, did we lose him?
We did, yeah. He was out with a calf problem.
There it is, come on, wait, back to back. Good, wait.
South Sydney bench.
Another step, mate.
Proud coach John Lang.
Free, release off the ball. Up we go.
Michael Crocker. He put Sam Burgess back in this team and they can only get fitter. I think that was their problem against the Roosters, particularly the Roosters, maybe against the Dogs. Put Burgess back in this side. And they get some combinations going down that left side, which is lethal, with Inglis and Taylor and whatever else, Sutton. It might be a real live hope. This is Jared Hayne bringing it back to the 20-metre line. And there's Big Sam. I think that's his little brother with him, is it not?
Yeah, not so little. And
Here's Keating.
Ben Lowe sitting in front of him, broke his foot.
Now Mortimer goes back and finds Manor, but Manor has got Crocker.
See, that's a play I don't understand. I don't understand a half running across and turning it back into a forward who's just going back into the meat of the defence.
Mortimer did well, and then Hayne did better. And now Mortimer sprints. He's got Merritt in front of him, and he takes him to ground. There was a classic bit of football there from Mortimer and Hayne. Now it's gone to the middle of the park. Robson away. Walker's with the ball. Long ball, but surely that's gone forward.
Yeah, well, he's got the defence offside. He's played advantage here, the referee.
No advantage there.
I thought he was a quarterback for a minute there, Chris Walker.
Well, that pass nearly landed in Canada Bay. Went that far forward.
It's the other direction.
No, it's not. It's over there.
Gus, your directions are terrible.
It's over there.
You were pointing at Manly Wharf once and claiming it was Coleroy Platter. Stop it, please.
I'll drive you home past Canada Bay. It's in that direction.
You'll never get a job with Gregory's, that's all I'm saying. Played by Manor. Keating goes on to Rogers. I thought for a moment we had try on debut. Goodness gracious me. Had you been with Blackson, Lawson and Wentworth, they would never cross the mountains. Here's Souths with Inglis.
Yeah, the second tackle. It's just, again, it's just not the play. I know they're running out of time, but there were bodies there. It was going to be difficult to get the kick through, and the rebound favoured South Sydney as Talanoa out of dummy half. Struggles for some good metres.
If I was Blackson, Lawson and Wentworth, I'd have stopped at the Parramatta River, the Nepean River, Rabbits. I wouldn't have gone any further. Them mountains are awful steep.
Merritt now.
We mightn't have discovered the rest of Australia if I was with them.
Stop it. This is Ben Ross. Michael Crocker. They must have been very good New South Wales sides to have won under this intelligence.
Oh, they carried me.
Here's Sando's kick going down to Luke Burt, and Burt is taken back on his own 30-metre line. So we've got under 5 to go, and 32 to 18. And I've got a very happy assistant producer in the box, Louise McCree. She's a mad Rabbitoh supporter, and she's smiling broadly. Penalty goes to Souths.
On the ball, get your foot on.
He said, you haven't made a genuine attempt to play the ball. That's what he said, and it's Ben Smith who's in the wars, I think, again. Yeah, he hasn't made a genuine attempt to play the ball, to use the words of Bill Harrigan.
Yeah,
well, it's lazy, isn't it? It's the second time tonight. I don't know, Rabbits. Why do they do it?
Why do they do it?
Freddie.
And with a relief coach, Johnny Lang, I'm just watching you, looking up at the time ticking over you. Do you feel safe now?
Yeah, we're safe now, so very, very relieved.
Made 350 games. Has it felt any better?
It doesn't get any easier, I can tell you that.
What's been the pleasing aspect of the win tonight?
No, I think we've got the win, to be perfectly honest. Anything else, I'll worry about during the week. The 2 points, that's the best part of it.
Outstanding effort. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, Brad.
John Lang, one of the most cooperative of coaches. Here's Johnny Sutton, close to the line, feeds it back for Nathan Merritt to get 96, does he?
Short there for 4.
No, he's short. He's trying to chase down the 100. He's got more than 100, though, with all clubs. This is Farrell. He got rid of Chris Walker unceremoniously, but poor old Chris is hobbling around out there. He's really in an unfair situation as the ball is off the boot of Sutton. There flow, David Taylor. Goodness gracious me, he does some freakish things for a big man.
Well, that would have been spectacular. I was watching him come at great pace. I thought, well, he's not going to get there. And all of a sudden, he's leapt and got a good grab on it and just couldn't hold on to it. He's claiming he might have been tackled in mid-air, but I think the contest was okay.
Yeah, there was just a little bit of a touch there from Iselli. That might have just been enough to put him off. There's Daniel Mortimer. No, in fact, it's the 16, Billy Rogers. Takes it forward, just over 2 to go. Ben Smith claimed 42 out from his own line. And Reece Wesser has joined his teammates on the sideline with ice on leg.
Moi Moi. Held by Sutton and Pettybourne, and
Play properly, mate.
underneath all of that is Tyrrell. Here's Mortimer rifling it across to Burt. He puts a little toe poke on it, and then Walker does the same. It's bouncing around all over the park, and Michael Crocker is back there to clean it up.
A Queenslander. That's a Queensland origin play there. From a Queensland origin player, Michael Crocker. A forward in the last couple of minutes of the game, even though they've got a big lead, he sprints back and saves the day, saves the try. That's his origin mentality kicking in right there.
So just on a minute to go in this game, Ben Ross on his 30-metre line. Nathan Merritt now taking one of the final tackles. Surrender tackle, I fancy, and now Sando clears. He's had plenty of criticism, Chris, but I'll tell you what, this has been a fine game by him. His kicking's been good.
Yeah, both halves have been very good, and that was a little bit unlucky not to pick up a 40-20. The bounce didn't favour him as Marcelli tries to spin out of a tackle. They've been good tonight. They've been 8.5 out of 10, and they need to be 8.5 out of 10 at least next week and the week after.
They don't grow on trees, do they? Good number 7s, and we seem to put a lot of pressure on those kids that try to make it to the top. And Parramatta taking it to ground. Final play of the night. It's finished up with Justin Horrow. That's a good sight just to see him out there. Chris Walker happy to go to ground. He couldn't have run any further. And so the game winds down, much to the celebration of the South Sydney fans who are up in about the 3rd tier of ANZ Stadium. How they finish up there, I don't know. I've been meaning to mention that all night long, but they're way, way up in the bleachers. Look at them. I think they could have got better seats than that for them. 32-18 is the full-time score. Next, we bring you our $1,000 clean-up with Keno, man of the match, and then we'll head north to the Gold Coast for the local derby up there, the Titans and the Broncos. This is Nine's Friday Night Football, back in a moment.
New Pure Blonde White. Purer than what you're thinking.
Nestled between Marlborough and Martinborough, two of New Zealand's finest wine regions, lies what Lonely Planet reckons is the coolest little capital in the world, Wellington. With its stunning harbour, vibrant arts and culture scene, boutique shopping, world-class cuisine and hidden cocktail bars, there really is no place like Wellington. Visit wellingtonnz.com and be in to win a delicious getaway to Visa Wellington on a Plate, New Zealand's largest culinary festival this August.
At the Everyday Living Package sale, save a massive 25% off our most popular packages. That's right, 25% off selected packages. What a great time to buy. But the Everyday Living Package sale ends soon, so hurry.
Bacardi, made to mix.
I've walked through a lot of doors to quit smoking. Every year I make promises to myself, and I've tried to ignore my weaknesses. That's why I opened this door. Because for many, smoking is a treatable condition. After all, I want more money in my pocket and more energy to keep up with these two. Come on. Open the door to quitting. See your doctor.
For years, I've pretended to be married. My wife beats me in front of my kids. I swear to God, I could see myself ending up with this girl.
Did you say what I think you just said? What's this?
A circle?
To celebrate the release of Adam Sandler's comedy, Just Go With It, we're giving away a holiday to Hawaii for you and a mate to the value of $13,000. For your chance to win, log on and tell us the funniest lie you've told to score a date.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Only at the movies, March 31.
Tanning is skin cells in trauma, trying to protect themselves from cancer. But just 1 millimetre deep, a melanoma can get into your bloodstream and spread. There's nothing healthy about a tan. Authorised by the New South Wales Government, Sydney.
New Pure Blonde White. Purer than what you're thinking.
The Eels and Souths were locked up at 12-all at half-time, but after regathering the kick, Dave Taylor got Souths off to a flyer. Offload into Fatuli Talanoa. That was converted, and 18-12 early second half. Again, John Sutton combining with Dave Taylor in between defenders. Greg Inglis on his outside through the dummy, and the lead was extended to 26 points to 12. Mick Crocker, great work to back up in the middle of the ruck after some fine work on the outside. Nathan Merritt kicking deliberately back in towards the post, and Michael Crocker, despite attention from Parramatta defenders, kept his cool to put the ball down under the post. And too little too late for Parramatta. Moi strolling over to make it 32 points to 18. A 20 points to 6 second half for South Sydney, Ray, and South Sydney on the board in 2011.
Okay, Pete, thank you for that. Let's go now for the clean-up with Keno. $1,000 man of the match. Yes, Frederick.
Well said, Robbie. The clean-up with Keno man of the match is the avatar, Big Dave Taylor. You missed out on your try down the line. What happened? You dropped it.
Oh, mate, yeah. But the boys played well, and mate, full credit to them.
What about Johnny Lang? The 2 points, that leads his blood pressure a bit, won't it?
Yeah, definitely